Hello. Wow. Blimey. Back. I was here, I enrolled here in 1966. I didn't have this. Wow. I mean, I opened this. Well, they asked me, you know, I thought I'd come along and open my own theatre. But then I was filming, I just finished a film, and I was in Morocco, and a kid came up to me and he said, with a Nottingham accent, "Hey up me duck." And I said, "Hi." And he said, "Oh, I was at Clarendon." And I went, "Oh, right, what are you doing here?" And he said, I'm playing Jesus, I'm an actor." I thought, my God, he's done really well. But I'm here because I'm filming this documentary about 1966, which is an amazing year, because it's the year that I got a job at the Playhouse when a man called John Neville was running the theatre, one of the great actors of his generation, and I worked as a student there and here, and I did master classes with John Neville on Saturday mornings. And you know, Nottingham, for then, I mean, I'm from Ilkeston, and I felt like I was at the centre of the universe, because Nottingham was the place to be. I mean, it was, you know, Slab Square was just full of mods, and the theatre, and it was the first time I'd been to a theatre when there were miners there. I mean, miners going to see things like The Country Wife. They were from Ilkeston and Hena and Belper, and I don't know how I managed to do it, you know. It's just such a great achievement. I've just been chatting to Giles Croft at the Playhouse, who's saying the legacy of John Neville is enormous. But I do think this is a great theatre town, and that's a great theatre. And I think what you've got here, you're so lucky to have this. And I think you better ask me some questions, because I'm drying up here, and I've got so much to talk about today, apparently about the 60s. And they're going to be setting up while we're chatting, so if anyone wants to ask me something, please do.
Hi.
Hello.
So, after you left Clarendon, what did you do?
Right, I tell you. The thing was, when we came here, because I was at Gladstone Boys, which was a secondary modern, I failed my 11 plus, and I remember saying to my careers master, who was also my PE teacher, my maths teacher, and he said, "What do you want to be, Stephen?" My real name's Stevens. "What are you going to be?" And I said, "I want to be an actor, sir." And he said, "A what? What do they do?" I said, they act, sir." He went, "All right." He said, "Have you considered a career in hairdressing?" And that's exactly what people thought about people who wanted to perform. Just thought it was all a bit sinister, and you were a bit weird. And I lied, I'm afraid, when I came here. I said I was going to do 2 A-levels, and I was going to Rose Bruford to teach. And everyone on my course were under the same premise that they were going into teaching. But there was a group of us. Richard Beckinsale was one, the lovely actor called Ken Hutchinson, who did major movies in Hollywood, David Dixon, who I'm meeting later. I think David's here, I think, and some really wonderful actors, all literally behind our tutors' backs, went to RADA, Guildhall, Lambda, Central, didn't tell anyone. And then, because that's how, it was almost like you were hiding, which seems such a shame, because now, you know, I mean, presumably most of you guys want to go into the business, yeah? Yeah, so what's the next step? For me, it was RADA. The only problem I had being here is that I'm really proud of where I come from. And in the 60s, when I went to RADA, it was like, it wasn't just changing your accent, it was changing your being, your personality. So I kind of lost who I was for a long time. And it really annoys me about drama schools. It doesn't happen so much now. But in the 60s, when I went to RADA, it was very much like just become a blank sheet. But in some ways, it was really good, because I became I did everything. I managed to do comedy and musicals and Shakespeare, and I knew that perhaps if I'd been the Ilkeston lad that I was when I came to Clarendon, I probably wouldn't have had that, you know, big stage, as it were. Does that answer your question? I can't hear that.
Well, eloquent, darling.
What has been one of your biggest achievements so far?
Well, I think that's it. I think my, if I have an achievement, is that I'm still working. And you know, I mean, my daughter's just left Arts Ed in Chiswick. I got 2 sons who, one of them might be running Venezuela in a few years' time, but that's another point. But, you know, I really try to explain to them what it's like to get a job. I mean, my daughter's now been out of Arts Ed for 2 years, 3 years, and she's done 1 commercial. I think it's about, she did a thing called the Misfits for Channel 4. But she can't get theatre. And this is what's really pissing her off, is that agents now in our profession are so into making money. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that they need to make a living. And we all need to make a living. And so theatre doesn't, a lot of the young agents now are not theatre orientated. And I think that's got to change. But I told her, I said to Sid, my daughter, I said, look, don't wait for the business. You know, create the business yourself. So she started writing. She's writing her own material. And I think, because a lot of people just leave here, they go to drama school and then they just wait. And then the creativity dies. You've got to play music, you've got to get out there, you've got to do something, you've got to make yourself something to do, you know. So my achievement is I'm still working, I'm really thrilled, but I think that RADA and Clarendon gave me the opportunity to change me and become other people. Anything else? The thing is, you know, when I did this series of my family, I've done a lot of comedy. You don't choose, sometimes the business chooses you, you know, and things just escalate. I mean, I did my family because I had 3 kids, and it pays for an awful lot of things. You know, and the theatre, I worked at the National, you know, I did 2 plays at the National and I did Richard III at the RSC, which I'm very proud of. But all I'm known for is my family, and Citizen Smith, and GBH, and TV. TV it was a really interesting thing. I did The Entertainer with Pam Ferris, an actress called Pam Ferris, wonderful actress. And we were at the Old Vic. Kevin Spacey's got us to do this play. Brilliant play by John Osborne. It's really weird because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, every time we did a curtain call, the audience stood up because it was a professional audience. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, the coach parties came in. So they were expecting to see me, Wolfie Smith, my family, and Pam Ferris, Darling Buds and May, Rosemary and Thyme. And they weren't getting what they'd seen on the telly. But I mean, the fact it was packed, and Kevin was delighted because the Old Vic at that point was having a really dodgy time. And it was a real moment. My character, Archie Rice, I don't know whether you know the play, but he hates the audience. He's an alcoholic, loathes the audience, and abuses them. And at one point during a Saturday matinee, someone shouted out, "Oh, Robert, do something funny." And it was like, oh my God, I realized the problem of doing a long-running TV series. You carry the baggage with you. It's not easy. It's trying to keep your anonymity, but do you know what? I love this profession. And I'm so fortunate to have been here and RADA and still be working and standing in front of you guys.
I've got two questions, if that's all right. First question is, what was actually your big break? Like, your big break after Paradise? Right.
I think, to be honest, it was working in rep. I mean, repertory was so important when they're going to just set up now, I think. There's a coffin. And they, I think, you know, and repertory was great because, you know, you worked your equity card, you had a red card for a membership, and then you got a blue card. The day you got your blue card, you'd done your 36 weeks, and then, you know, everything seemed to have a progression. Now it's really confusing. I don't know how you guys cope, you know, but the rather nice thing is, I've just become president of a thing called the Royal Theatrical Fund, which is, in fact, I'm going to announce this now because I think we've got some local press here, which is rather good. It's a charity, and it's for actors. It was started by Charles Dickens, and it was in 1858. And Sir Donald Sinden was president, and then last year they asked me to be president, and I was like, wow. Because it's a charity that's aimed specifically at performers. And you know, some of the stories are heartbreaking. And it's not just anonymous actors, it's famous actors. People who you think have done really, really well and earned pots of money, and in fact find themselves in dire straits. And I admire those people because they've given so much of themselves to the public, whether it's through TV or film or theatre or whatever. And I think it's a charity that, you know, gives back to the people in the profession. So, on June the 5th, you will all be invited at the Theatre Royal Haymarket. We are having a big charity gala to celebrate the Queen's 90th birthday, but also the charity's birth, which is 170 years old. And at this event, we have now got Dame Judi Dench, Emma Thompson. Emma Thompson and I are going to reprise Me and My Girl that I did on thing. We've got Rob Brydon, we've got David Morrissey, we've got Joe Lumley. It goes on and on and on, and everyone's agreed to come and do this. It's going to last 2 hours, and they've just rung me this morning because I knew I was going to talk to you guys to say they're going to give away 200 seats. I think it's 200 seats at 10 quid for students. So I'm letting you know first. But we'll talk to your superiors about that when the time comes. But any more questions? Hello, Phil Wilson.
If you had one piece of advice for all of us, what would it be?
Do you know what? It's really fun. I'm always asked that, and I think it's just stay confident and don't let people put you off. There's too many people trying to put you off all the time. And I think you have to be absolutely like that. You know, I mean, when I first left RADA, I lost a few good relationships because I was so ambitious. I think at some point you have to embrace everything. You know, you don't just lock off, but you don't let people put you off, and people will. Even people you're working with, you know, you're going to do it like that. You know, and all that sort of stuff. Just be confident and be proud of yourself, because this training you're getting here is fantastic. Presumably, what? Hands up. This is this first year, second. Wait. Was it a 2-year course now? 3-year course? Mixture. Yeah. I don't know. You know, how do I give advice to my kids? My daughter. I didn't know what to say to my daughter. But the one piece of advice she's taken is she writes. And if the phone doesn't ring, she makes something happen. She put on a play at the Tabard in Chiswick last year. She's just written a play that she's been passing around, and she's now got a commission by Hat Trick, which is Jimmy Melville's company, which do episodes and things like that. She's written a sitcom. And I think that's really important, because it's that, keeping that going. I've seen actors just get demoralised by that phone not ringing and things not happening.
If you start doing acting, what you did now, how would you
Can someone shout that out?
How do you want to be remembered?
I haven't finished yet. It'll be, I don't know. Telly, as I say, telly's like, you're just known for the telly. And I think my real work, the work I'm most proud of, has been done in the theatre. I mean, one of the great things I ever did was Cyrano de Bergerac at the Haymarket in London. And, there's really proud moments of knowing you've got something right. And I've just walked through Slab Square, and literally everyone, selfies. Oh, I love them. I love you, my family. Oh, Citizen Smith. Oh, it's great. Years ago, when I was doing Citizen Smith, had 24 million viewers, because there's only 3 channels, and I'd been asked to play Hamlet at the Royal Exchange, and I was like being a pop star. I couldn't go anywhere. I was so famous. It was horrible. I hated it. No, I'm serious. I'd never wanted to be famous. When I was here, fame never came into my mind. I just wanted to go out and work. So Citizen Smith threw me completely. Anyway, I was doing Hamlet. I was rehearsing. And as I came down the high street to go to rehearsals that morning, there was a bloke on a roof in Manchester. A building had a helmet on, and he went, "Power to the people!" And he fell off this roof, right? Honestly, he slid down this roof on the tiles, and the tiles were breaking, and he grabbed hold of the guttering, and the guttering snapped, and he fell onto a shop awning. The shop awning collapsed. He landed on the floor and came over and asked me for my autograph. And I said, I got into rehearsals that morning. I said to the director, I said, "God, I'm never going to lose this character." And he said, "Come here, look." And I went to the box office, and there was a queue of people waiting to see my Hamlet. And he said, "That's how powerful TV is, and don't knock it."
It's been brilliant that you've been able to speak to everybody. So if you could just show our appreciation.